Deep breath, and exhale. On Shabbat, we have an opportunity to taste the world to come, the world of bliss and of pure rest and happiness, a world without end, a world where we're one with God, and there is nothing else, just that oneness. Eino. 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 Take a few more breaths. Page 128. The oneness we seek with the beloved of our soul, the eternal. In the middle of the page. Yedi nefesh al harachaman meshoch avdecha el retzonecha yarutz avdecha kemo Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Yeah. Shabbat Shalom, Aviva. Woohoo. She's so happy it's Shabbat. We should all be so happy it's Shabbat. Are you happy it's Shabbat? That was not a very enthusiastic, I'm happy it's Shabbat. Are you happy it's Shabbat? Do I have to maybe I should do a bit of the kids' song that we did. It's Shabbat. It's Shabbat. No? You'll have that in your head the whole night. So, for those of you who are new or who are new to me, I'm Cantor Adam Davis, and I'm pleased to be here with you tonight. I hope you enjoyed dinner. Did everyone have some dinner? Yeah, how were the noodles? They were good? Yeah? Were they above average noodles? Do we like noodles with sauce? Noodles without sauce? Noodles without sauce. Okay, good. We'll keep doing that then. Let's turn to page 130 and we'll begin our journey down the Psalms. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai, Nariya, Nariya letzor Yishenu, nekar mafana vetoda, Nariya, Nariya letzor Yishenu, bismirot Nariya lo, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Let's continue on the opposite page. At the bottom, let the heavens rejoice and all who are on the land and the sea, and everything who is in it. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz, Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umlo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umlo. Now, Faye is doing what I was hoping everyone would do, and maybe you can put your book down just for a moment to demonstrate in more detail when I say Yiram hayam. See, everyone should be doing that. Yeah, so if you can, balance your books on the right. So because we want to rejoice, the heavens are rejoicing, and we should rejoice as well. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umlo, Yiram hayam. There we go. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umlo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umlo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umlo. Ya'alo sara v'chol asher bo, az yiranenu kol hatzeyar, lifnei Adonai kiva, kiva lishbot haaretz, yishbot tevel v'tzedek, v'yamin be'emunato. Let's turn now to page 134, and at the top of the page, I'm going to invite you to join the orchestra. Does everyone have an instrument that they like to play or that they like to hear? What do you like to play, Shiloh? Two kinds of instruments at once? Maracas. Okay, what's the other one? Harmonica and maracas. What about you, Isaac? Do you have an instrument you like to play? Drums. Okay, those are important parts of the orchestra as well. Okay, who else likes to play an instrument? Grown-ups can also play. What do you like to play? The flute. The flute. These are all instruments that we see in the words of the Psalms. So, Zamru l'Adonai Bechinor, Bechinor, V'kol Zimra. And our voices too. Zamru l'Adonai Bechinor, Bechinor, V'kol Zimra. Zamru l'Adonai Bechinor, Bechinor, V'kol Zimra. Zamru l'Adonai Bechinor, Bechinor, V'kol Zimra. B'chatz hatzrot v'kol shofar. There's an instrument, shofar. Hariu lifnei HaMelech Adonai, tevel ve'yoshveva. Neharot imcha uchaf, yachar harim yeranenu. Lifnei Adonai kiva lishbot haaretz, yishbot וצדק וימים במישרים. At the bottom of 135, last paragraph. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. So we're going to turn to page 138, and as we do so, we're going to welcome the Shabbat bride, the Sabbath queen. She's about to climb the stairs. She's very happy about it. But before we do that, before we welcome one another, I'll welcome Aviva. Hi, Aviva. Shabbat Shalom. Hi. Let's welcome one another. Turn to someone you haven't met yet, or someone you don't know as well, or someone whose name you may be forgotten, and you can ask them for name amnesty and turn to them and say, I remember your face, but I don't remember your name. Forgive me, and I'm so-and-so. So I'm Cantor Adam. It's good to see you all. So turn to someone else and do that as well. Meet your neighbors. And if you're... Megan? David. What are your last names? Wilbur and Klein. Wilbur and Klein. Okay. You're Ashkenazi. You're Klein I got. Wilbur, that's less... Okay. Nice. It was beautiful. Thank you for asking. Yes, we went to Central, we went to Stephen Wise, we went to Oldham Street, we went to Bialystok. Oh, yeah? Isn't it amazing? Yeah. Yeah. Love to hear it. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'll try to incorporate a little bit more follow up. No? Okay, fair enough. Oh, good. Well, I might throw some new ones in there, sorry. All right, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We've greeted one another. Let's greet Shabbat. So Shabbat is like a wedding, we say, and we like to dance at a wedding. And actually, I'm going to capo this up because it'll make it a little easier to sing for everybody. Yeah, before Barker. Okay, so Lechado D. We'll do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. There we go. Always does that. La 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 Lechado D. La 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 Likra Kala. La 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 B'nai Shabbat. B'nai Shabbat Nekabela. Shamor v'zachor B'dibur echad Ishemianu El HaMyuchad Adonai echad U'shemo echad L'shemu tiferet V'litilah Lechadodi, la 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 Likrat Kala, la 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 B'nai Shabbat, B'nai Shabbat Nekabela, Likrat Shabbat Lechu v'nelcha, Ki מעשה במחשבה תחילה. יננננן לך דודי, יננננן לקראת כלה, יננננן בני שבת, בני שבת נקבלה. Verse 5. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. יננננן לך דודי, יננננן לקראת כלה, יננננן בני שבת, בני שבת נקבלה. And as we reach verse 9, we turn to Greek Shabbat, metaphorically. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha, uvtzola, toch emunei, am segula, boi kala, Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, yanananai lecha dori, yanananai likra kala, yanananai b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. Unless you're watching a small child. Let's turn to page 140, Psalm for Shabbat, Psalm 92. Mizmor shir liyom ha-Shabbat, tov lehodot. Try that with me. Tov lehodot Adonai, Tov lehodot Adonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, lahagid baboker, lahagid baboker chasdecha, lahagid baboker chasdecha, ve'emunacha v'alecha yashar Adonai tzuri velo avlatabo. You know, just about, it must have been half an hour ago, there were a bunch of very young people running around, and I think some of them are still running around. And that's not only okay, it's good. Because as the psalm teaches us, when we dwell in the courtyards of Adonai, our roots become grounded, we grow tall and strong, and so it's wonderful to see so many young people marching around, even some in sequins. Yes, leading by example, making new friends. Hello, young people, just talking about you, about how much you're learning here when you're here. It's so great that we have so many families that are joining us. So thank you for planting them in the courtyards of Adonai. Let's turn to page 142. We'll welcome some angels into our midst. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeitechem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Turning to page 144. Yikada v'yikada Shemei Rabbah, v'yamad yivrach elokei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechonu yomechon uchayedecho beit Yisrael, bagala bagala uvizman kariv v'imeru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olam le'olmaya yibarach yibarach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei dekudeshah richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran ve'alma ve'imeru Amen. We're going to jump backwards just a little bit to page 120 and light the candles for Shabbat. And let's see, do we have any brave volunteers? Oh, okay, well, we do have some brave volunteers. Asha and Shiloh, will you come up here, please, and help me light the candles? And maybe Josie will join us. Why not? Why not? Sure. And perhaps an adult chaperone can join us. Maybe someone whose names begin with Rachel can come up and join us to help us. Here, girls, come over on the other side of the Amud here. There we go. All right. Okay. Oop. Yeah, we're good. We're covered. Literally. So let's light candles. Okay. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, by our light, be among those who kindle light. Let's do this. Let's gather the warmth of Shabbat together. There we go. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של Shabbat. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate your help. We can go have a seat. And so I'll invite you now to turn back to page 146. Yes, 146. We're jumping around a little bit, but that's pretty par for the course when we have a Jewish prayer book. Let's rise in our hearts or to our feet, whichever is most comfortable, as we respond to the call to prayer. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed. You may be seated. I see that my helpers have gone back to be plantling saplings. Otherwise, I'd have them help me. Let's read together on the bottom of page, at the top of page 149. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows together. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamari Varavim. Page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. On the following page, Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha V'chol avavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'ribarta bam v'shiftecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם. Amen. All the things we hold to be true and certain, among which are the need for a repair of this world that is imperfect because we are imperfect. Let's read responsively at the bottom of page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. That song sung so long ago by Miriam the prophetess on page 158. Malachutecha ra'u vanecha Pokea yam lifnei Moshe Miriam Ze Eliyanu ve'amru Ze Eliyanu ve'ameru Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed V'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov Ugo'alon miyad chazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai Gal Yisrael. Page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom shalom aleinu ve'akol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim ve'akol amo ve'al Yerushalayim shalom Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. On page 162, I'm going to need your help with this one. Shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam beini uven b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam oti le'olam oti le'olam v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Shabbos la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Shabbos la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam uvayom ha-shevi'i Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. turn to page 164 and then quickly to 166, I'm going to invite you to rise once more to your feet or in your heart, whichever is most comfortable, for the central prayer of our service, Amidah. Oh, Aviva wants to lead. Yeah, she's not. No. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Don't worry. Adonai, sefatai tiftachu fi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch. Ata Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'anora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה 168 אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, לשני עבר, מחמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל 170 אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Take a few moments for private meditations of the heart or using the language provided on either side of the page. When you've concluded your private meditations, feel free to give yourself a rest. If you're still doing that, I encourage you to continue at your own pace, or you can join me for a prayer for healing, Misha Bera, for those who are ill in our midst, which we can find on page 371 have someone whom you're praying for this week, think of their name, think of their face as we sing these words together, words of healing. מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. This week we're keeping in our thoughts and prayers Gittel Leah bat Masha Chana, Myron Israel ben Rachel, Baruch ben Sarah, Itka Fega bat Gittel, Gittel Gila Chaya bat Mordechai Lev v'Gila Leah, Tova Chava bat Chaya Rachel, Tzvi ben Binyamin, Rachel Liba bat Moshe Menachem Mendel v'Gittel, Gittel bat Bela, Aryeh ben Yaakov Mordechai, Sarah Bell, Louis Dobrin, Angela Eno, Martin Goffin, Fran Lappin, Tanner Light, Megan Magleby, Michael Primiano, Andrea Sanders, Pete Schwager, Penny Spector, Adina Stern, Carolyn Williams, Michael Winston, Judy Wolf, and others whose names we share at this time as my eyes meet yours. מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. And now I'm going to invite you to find your way to page 586. And as you're doing that, after you find 586, just put your thumb or your finger in there, and then you can kind of close your books a little bit, because at this time it's my pleasure to invite up our guest Darshan, and that is none other than our very own Faye Lincoln. You're welcome. I've prepared the Stanley's beautiful.
Oh, do I have to stand? Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Okay. This Shabbat's Haftorah portion is Parshat Tetzaveh, and it's a difficult one. I'm going to do the Haftorah portion tonight, and I think Lisa's actually going to do the main Parsha tomorrow, so come on back tomorrow. But I'm going to do the Haftorah portion, and it comes from the book of Samuel 1, section 15, where King Saul is directed by God to eliminate the Amalekite people who originally opposed the passage of the Hebrews on their way to the land of Israel during the Exodus. In Jewish tradition, the Amalekite people are the recurrent enemies of the Jews. God finally decides to eliminate them not only for their past transgressions, but presumably also for their current ones in the parsha once and for all. King Saul is also told by God not to steal any valuables for his own possession or to take anyone hostage. Saul fails to follow the directive, stealing possessions for his own greed and taking King Agag hostage. As a result, God strips Saul of his authority as king. Saul must live with his failure until he dies, at which point the kingship will be passed on to David. Now, to explain this passage, I want to first share a story with you. My late husband and I, with our family, were standing on top of Har Megiddo, Mount Megiddo, overlooking the vast green plains of the Jezreel Valley in northern Israel. This ancient crossroad between lands is the location of the so-called final battle of Armageddon. There, among the ruins of an ancient fortress, our tour guide shared a story from the book of 2 Kings, representing the failure of rulers to serve God and the people. This first story, combined with history, takes place much later than the Haftorah reading, in 870 BCE, when King Ahab, as the 7th king of Samaria, and his wife Queen Jezebel ruled over the northern kingdom. Naboth owned a vineyard in the Jezreel Valley, adjacent to King Ahab's palace in Samaria. King Ahab wanted to purchase or exchange the land owned by Naboth to extend his own private gardens. Naboth refused, since he had inherited the land from his father. King Ahab was dejected. Once Queen Jezebel found out what happened, she informs her husband that she will take care of everything. Jezebel proceeds to write up an executive order, actually it's a king's decree, to the elders and nobles of Naboth's town. The order explains that Naboth has reviled both king and God and must be executed. At trial, she instructs them to seat 2 scoundrels next to Naboth who will bear false witness to his actions. She then signs the decree with the king's seal. The trial is held, Naboth is found guilty, and is ultimately executed. Jezebel now goes back to King Ahab and tells him, "All is well. You may now go and take your land that originally belonged to Naboth. This breaches many commandments. You shall not murder, you shall not bear false witness, and you shall not covet your neighbor's house." According to our Israeli tour guide, the moral of this story was a focus on equality under the Torah law. The king must always be a servant to the people and must serve God. No king is above the law, and no king can be above the people. The law is applied equally on behalf of the people. Instead, Ahab was the epitome of greed, corruption, and self-interest. He was the worst of all kings. Now, the origin of this interpretation actually comes from the book of 1 Samuel, section 12, an earlier section to this weekend's Haftorah, which is directly related to Saul's actions against the Amalekites as commanded by God. Following the Exodus, when the Israelites were building the land of Israel as the 12 tribes, each individual tribe had to defend themselves against their enemies. Finally, when they had to fight the Philistines, who were located in and about today's area of Gaza, the enemy was too strong for individual tribes to defend themselves. So they decided that they needed a king to lead them and fight together. But as we've been reading in Exodus, God had just freed the Israelites from Egypt to get away from a powerful ruler like Pharaoh. "Look how Pharaoh treated you, abused as slaves for generations," God states. Yet the Israelites insisted they needed a king, risking he would abuse his power over them. Frustrated, God finally tells Samuel he will give the people a king. However, there were conditions, as we saw in the story of Ahab and Jezebel. The king must act as the servant of the people and the servant of God. The king must observe the same law that the people must abide by. He cannot be above the law, and he must answer to God's commands. In other words, the king must show humility in the face of the law. And so we arrive at this Shabbat's Haftorah. Saul is the first king of the land of Israel who must comply by example to the conditions given to the prophet Samuel. This is a test. God directs Saul to defend the people by destroying the Amalekites, the perpetual enemy of the Israelites. But Saul and his men are also instructed that they must not steal any of the valuables that belong to the Amalekites or take any hostages. Their sole purpose was to defend and protect. Commandment number 6 says, "You shall not murder." It does not say, "You shall not kill." You may kill in defending your people against an enemy, which was God's primary intent. But his secondary intent was to see how Saul would comport himself in relationship to the law. Would Saul follow God's commands? Would he act as a servant of God by meeting his conditions? No. Instead, Saul disobeys God and acts above the law by stealing the Amalekites' possessions for themselves and taking King Agag as hostage. Saul failed the test, and God, through the prophet Samuel, removed Saul's divine authority as king. Today, from this Haftorah, we take away 2 important lessons. The first involves a leader who acts on his own without regard to the rule of law or democratic principles. Once leaders decide to follow their own interpretation of the law, they overreach their authority and power within a democracy. People become less important and financial gain becomes the priority, leading to greed, abuse, and corruption. Over 80% of the world's nations today are led by authoritarian leaders or dictatorships. Democracy on a global basis is on the decline. The second lesson involves defending one's nation against a recurrent enemy. In the words of their own leaders, Hamas does not desire peace in any form because they believe they have the right to all the land of Israel. Even when they say they want peace, they teach the value of war to their people and children. Israel should prioritize peace for the sake of releasing all the hostages. But that must be weighed against defending and protecting Israel's people. This is a challenging paradox, a difficult balance to achieve with no right answer. No words can begin to convey the happiness and relief at the return of the hostages to their families and the sorrow for the many who have died in captivity. However, so far Hamas has released only a small contingent of the remaining hostages who are starved and injured. But as long as hundreds of Hamas militants are disproportionately released from Israeli prisons, violence and war will only repeat itself. Therefore, should Hamas dishonor the ceasefire agreement, Israel must remain ready to defend itself, either with preemptive strikes or if there is an attack on Israel's people. Alternatively, Israel and its allies must find a breakthrough transformation to stop the cycle. Without a fundamental change in leadership and values, Hamas will continue to represent the perpetual Amalekite enemy of our ancient Jewish history. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Faye. So now you've got your finger in the book, to page 586 it should be. I'll invite you to rise. Can't even hear me, can you? I'll invite you to rise. הגדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. אין עוד, אין עוד, אין עוד, אין עוד, אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומועדים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. היי ליי 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 ליי, היי ליי 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 ליי, היי ליי 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 ליי, ליי ליי ליי, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. אין עוד, אין עוד, אין עוד, אין עוד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד. We may be seated. As we turn to page 591, we turn our thoughts to the sorrowing among us, those who are observing Yortzites, or those who are in Shloshim within the first 30 days of the loss of a loved one. If you're among them, I invite you to rise when you hear the name of your beloved. This week we're remembering Gary Bates, Sam Becker, Neville Coleman, Mark Dykes, Jerry Fields, Sarah Goldfarb, Samuel Goldstein, Miriam Hecht, Samuel Hentelef, Shirley Gus Hertz, Gita Hertz, Emma Hines, Marjorie Lemire, Charles Levy, Barbara Levy, Susan Lindau, Eric Linnett, June Marlowe, Joseph Monzi, Mabel Hyman Monzi, Harry Monzi, Samuel Movitz, Helga Newmark, Miriam Paul, Karen Pepper, Tyler Purcellin, Mintze Pessel, Bertha Rose, Milton Rosen, Beverly Rosenberg, Daniel Edwin Buddy Sable, Ethel Scheinberg, Abraham Siegel, Esther Shapiro, Jemima Scholl, Anita Ruth Tishkoff Solomon, Gloria Etta Sussman, Marilyn Ibsen Wallace, Robert Weed, Marjorie Kalnitz Wilk. Also in these first 30 days of Shloshim, we're remembering Debbie Leffler, mother of our member Ellen Leffler. Other names we wish to share at this time as my eyes meet yours. Zikronam livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. It is your custom to rise in support of the mourners. or to do so in memory of the martyrs of our people, I invite you to do so at this time as we say together on page 598, Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah ve'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chaychon v'yomechon v'chay v'chol beit Yisrael v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam olomei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudeshah richu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated. At this time, I'm going to try to play a little trading places, and I'm going to come over and pay attention to Jackson, and maybe I can convince Melissa Jensen to, as a member of our board of directors, to read the announcements, and I'll chase after him. Don't you worry. I'm right on his heels. So okay, yes, and Aviva's going to give the announcements as well. So. I know she's looking forward to this. She's been looking forward to it all night.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Cantor Davis, for leading us this evening, and to Faye Lincoln for the Devar Torah. It was beautiful and so well spoken. And to the Religious School Parent Committee for preparing our delicious dinner. Thank you so much. Join us for a Shabbat service tomorrow morning and tomorrow at 2 p.m. for Annika Schaefer's Mincha Bat Mitzvah service. Our Purim celebrations begin this Sunday at 9 a.m., and so you're all invited to join us for our Purim spiel, The Zion King, followed by our religious school and KG Purim Carnival. Buy your activity wristbands online before prices go up. Other events to mark on your calendars include Thursday, March 13th is Purim. Beginning at 7 p.m., we'll have our Erev Purim spiel, Megillah reading. Following the service, we'll keep the celebration going with a Purim party and karaoke. You do not want to miss it. On Friday, March 14th, join us for our Purim morning service and Megillah reading. March 16th is our next Sunday schmooze. We'll learn about mastering the art of listening with former Kolami President Jathan Janov. Jathan has also arranged for there to be plenty of delicious cheesecake for this one. March 18th is our next Rosh Chodesh Women's Group with special guest Dr. Marla Dudak, a breast surgeon who recently relocated to Utah and will be sharing her expertise on breast health. And March 23rd is Mitzvah Day, so if you're interested in joining the committee, leading an activity, or just being involved, contact Matthew Weinstein. We're also collecting donations for this event. See announcements for what's needed. If you're interested in being a part of the Sunday morning Minyan group, please contact Jim Isaacson and Carl Smoot. We also have a few spots that have opened up on our Jewish Heritage Tour this May to Poland, Slovakia, and Hungary. Remember to set your clocks ahead 1 hour Saturday night. As always, we are so grateful to our volunteers, to all of you for coming. Thank you for being here, our donors and guests and support. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Hey! Yeah! Okay. If I could have all of our young people come and join me up on the bima, that'd be great. We'll make Kiddush. Please rise. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ספרי ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. Thank you all for being here. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.